Here at Helmuth Ford, we are a small-town dealership with no hassle and no pressure.
Delta Fire and Rescue presents the Delta Haunted House at 109 North Center Street in Delta. Admission is just $10 per person. The Delta Haunted House is open each Friday and Saturday throughout October and on Halloween night from 8 to 10 p.m. Food and drinks will be available for purchase, and now accepting cash and most major credit cards. It's the Delta Fire and Rescue Delta Haunted House, Fridays and Saturdays in October and on Halloween night. Watch Pekin Panther football live right here this fall on Steve Shuttler Media, Facebook, and YouTube with live announcers and an updated scoreboard, plus an area scoreboard to keep you updated on other schools of interest. It's Pekin Panther football live right here on Steve Shuttler Media.
Mayhem Haunted House at 13011 120th Avenue, Ottumwa. Invite you to their second annual Trunk or Treat and Lighted Tour on Saturday, October 12th. Trunk or Treat from 6 to 7 p.m. is free. Lighted Tour from 6 to 7:30 is $10. And get a full scale from 7:30 to 9 for $15 per person. Come find out why Mayhem Haunted House has been voted the best haunted house in Iowa for multiple times. Open for the Halloween season, Friday and Saturdays, October 18th through November 2nd. Cost is $15. Get ready to scream at Mayhem Haunted House in Ottumwa.
Here, we're just not on screen yet. There we go. There we are. Hi, Aaron.
Hey, Steve. How are you today?
I should probably turn your microphone up so we could hear you. Hey, we are doing good. We're doing the Real Talk here on Steve Shuttler Media. It's brought to us by New Life Community Church in Wellman. Say hi, Aaron.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, I can hear you now.
All right. It's great to be with you. We are... Last week we discussed the Iowa-Ohio State game.
Yes, we did.
Fact of the matter is, this is a pre-recorded session, not live, and so we don't know the results yet.
So are we happy or are we sad? We don't know.
We don't even know if we're happy or sad or satisfied. Was it a blowout? Was it close? Did Iowa pull off the stunning upset? Well, no one knows.
Well, our viewers know.
Our viewers know because it's like they're in the future.
Yeah. This is weird, man.
It's spooky. It's like are we in a haunted house or something? It's November. Who knows what could happen? Wait, it's not November. Man,
you're getting way ahead. Your time traveling is like we're in this multiverse. Are we in a Marvel movie right now? I don't know.
We hit a wormhole in the time-space continuum. Steve is back in October, but I'm in November. And yet we're sitting next to each other in the studio in the past.
It's bonkers. It's bonkers. What's going on?
Well, when we say real talk, sometimes we mean real silly.
Yeah, exactly. It tends to get that way.
Yeah, well, welcome, everybody. We're glad that you're with us. We will get serious here in a little bit because there are many, many serious things going on in life. And we know that what you need more than anything is for someone to scare you and to be depressing and make it sound like nothing good could happen. So we'll get real serious here before too long. Wait, that was more silliness.
I'm waiting. I am waiting for the seriousness.
Okay, in all seriousness, last week we were talking about God's gym and the importance of exercising your spirit in the same way that exercising your body is healthy for your body. Your spirit needs to be exercised. And actually, Steve, I've got good news about my body.
Okay.
2 years ago, this shows you how often I go to the doctor. 2 years ago, I went to the doctor, and I got my cholesterol checked.
Okay.
And my cholesterol was like decent, but my triglycerides, which I don't even know what they are.
Well, I'll tell you what. No.
So
There's 3 of them. There's tri.
Right,
One,
tri.
two-
And they're
1, 2, tri.
the glycerides.
Yeah.
They're made out of glycerin, maybe? Nitroglycerin?
Probably.
I
There's
guess.
3 of them.
And they're dynamite.
What about your triglycerides?
Well, they said that 0 to 200 is healthy, and 200 to 300 is like, it's a little out of line, and 300 to 500 is dangerous.
Okay.
And I clocked in at 589.
That's very dangerous.
So I started eating oatmeal for breakfast and going on long walks and trying not to pig out all the time, and lost some pounds and got back into the doctor the other day and was down to like 250.
Wow. So you
Yeah.
cut it in more than half.
Yeah, cut it in half and getting close to that less dangerous zone. But I had to work at it a little bit.
Yeah.
Had to work at it. Long walks. I don't run so much anymore. I'm always getting shin splints or broken toes or stuff like that when I try to run. But I'm doing some walking. Carry a backpack sometimes.
Are they long walks at the beach? Or are they romantic?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, not usually. They used to be more romantic, but my wife has long COVID, and so long walks have become difficult for her. So I have a friend named Lee, and we talk a lot about football and sports and stuff like that. So it's a lot easier to exercise when you've got a friend to go with you. That's my experience. But just working my body out and trying to be a little bit healthier each day, and I feel pretty good about the progress.
Good.
So what are some exercises that a person can do for their spirit that will build up the inner part of you, the part of you that the gravitational pull on our body is like to just sit down in a comfy chair. Mm-hmm. That's the gravitational pull. And so you got to fight against that and get up and walk or lift some weights. Or I don't lift a lot. I have gotten into push-ups recently.
Okay.
Like
those aren't easy.
No, I started with 5.
Okay.
And kind of built up from there. And one day 5, and then 2 sets of 5, and eventually got up to about 100 a day. And,
wow!
And then
That's
I went.
Impressive.
Yeah. And so it's been about a week. So I got to get back on track with that. I got kind of excited about doing push-ups.
I always remember when you first start doing push-ups, don't you really feel it in your armpits?
Yeah, the armpits and just kind of everything. Above my rib cage, shoulders, triceps.
I ask because I haven't done push-ups in a long time.
It's been a minute. So there's all these exercises we can do for our body, but what about our spirit? And because the gravitational pull on our spirit is towards isolation, towards depression, towards anxiety, towards giving up, quitting, just kind of grinding down to a slow bleh. Which is a technical theological word I learned in seminary. Bleh. Yeah, we just kind of gravitate towards bleh. So how do we break out of that state of bleh? And it requires some exercise. So last week we were talking about the Word of God and getting some Bible reading in or listening to some audio Bible, which I have a lot of friends who do that. folks who just struggle with reading or don't have a lot of time to sit and read at home, but maybe you've got a job where you're on the road a lot and you got some windshield time. Hey, hook up the Bible. When I'm not walking with my friend Lee, I'll often listen to a couple of chapters of Bible on my phone. Which is, it's always easiest to find King James version on the internet. So I'm listening to some good old "Behold, thou art walking down the road, forsooth," etc. and thine ears are. I'm stumbling here.
Stop.
Rescue me, Steve. So, here's an exercise that I want to talk about today, and that is worship.
Yay!
Is that one of your fun ones?
Sure.
Yeah. You've got to, but what people say is, well, of course Steve likes to worship. He can sing. What do you do if you can't sing? Well, there's a lot of different things that you can do to worship. Let's name some.
I'm waiting for you to go.
Okay. You can lift your hands up in the air.
Yeah.
You can clap your hands.
Tambourines. Tambourines are great.
Yes. Yes. I never got into the banner and ribbon waving thing.
Yeah.
But sometimes some churches do that.
Does worship, now are we talking worship where in musical form? Are there other ways to worship?
So that's a good question. I think technically worship means to give our devotion to lavish affection on. Sometimes we use the term, "I worship the ground she walks on."
Sure.
And that doesn't necessarily mean I'm singing songs about the ground she walks on, but like just kind of like there's something in me that wants to pour out affection and praise and stuff on the ground that she walks on. So yeah, there's it's not just about music.
And I didn't mean to sidetrack you with that. I was just wondering.
Well, no, that's a really good question, because if our definition gets too narrow, then we can only worship on Sunday morning for 30 minutes while the worship team is leading music. And I don't think that's exactly what we're talking about. Although that's an important training ground for a lifestyle of worship. And so, yeah, other ways of worship or spiritual exercise. Hey, here's one. I sat down this morning to read my Bible and to jot down some notes and to do some journaling. And in the middle of that, I got a phone call from a guy who has struggled a lot over the years with drugs. And, he's been in and out of rehab. And it's always a little dicey, when I get a call from him, what kind of a mood is he going to be in? Is he going to be doing well? Do I read my Bible and ignore the phone call? Or pick up the phone and give some time and attention to a guy who might just be in a really bad spot? And I answered the phone. And in this case, he was doing really well. He's been clean for a little while and really upbeat in his mood, and we just had a good conversation. And then I got done with the phone call and realized, I got almost no time left for my Bible study and my journaling. But that interaction, like what I felt in my spirit, is approval from God. Like, I have done the right thing. There will be other times to read the Bible, or to turn on some worship music, which hey, we could say now, like, if you can't sing, you can't play an instrument, there's so much music available to us on the internet these days.
Yeah.
So YouTube and you can find almost any genre of music that you want.
Yep.
You can find Christian rap, Christian metal, Christian contemporary. You could probably find some Piercing the Darkness tunes out there. Steve's old band. Where would your tunes be available?
Probably just Christian rock would be the genre that it would be under. So
and people could Google Piercing the Darkness.
yeah, and there's a book named Piercing the Darkness, so you'll get some of that too. But
Yeah.
maybe Piercing the Darkness music or something like that.
Yeah. So you could. I always like the song "Swamp Jesus."
Yep. that was a fun tune.
That was a fun tune. Yeah. Also an intriguing name.
Yes.
What does that mean? So yeah, get on the internet and do a deep search. It may only be available on the dark web.
Now I was gonna say, speaking of like, you're talking about people singing or people that maybe think that they can't sing. I always like to say that some of my favorite places that I've played or sung at in churches or in prisons or wherever are leading people that aren't afraid to raise their voice and sing, whether they are a good singer or not. Now, maybe you aren't the best singer in the world, so maybe your place isn't on stage leading the music, but man, just to hear people singing loud and not afraid to lift their voices is great. So I mean, even if if you're not a great singer, still, I mean, don't be afraid to sing on Sundays at church or wherever, because it's better to be singing and making some noise than just being.
And that's the kind of face people make too, isn't it? But it's like every person that sings contributes.
Yeah.
And this is fun. We have an elder in our church is a lady named Tana Huber, and Tana's in her mid-70s, I think, and she's one of those people who has earned the right to tell other people what to do. like she's everybody's grandma or mom, depending on your age. But when your grandma has earned the right to not get any nonsense from her grandkids, right? Grandma can go around and tell you what to do, and you'll be like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So Tana cannot carry a tune in a bucket. And she would tell you that. She would be the first to tell you. But she sings on Sunday morning. She doesn't sing real loud because she doesn't want to, throw people off their game. But then Tana goes around to some of the younger people in the congregation, and she'll pull them aside and say, "You need to sing." And people are like, "Oh, okay, all right, okay, I'll try." You do. You need to sing because everybody contributes to the atmosphere, and it's just like what do they say? A high tide carries all boats. Have you heard that one before?
I'm not sure, but I like it.
Usually they talk about that in economics, like when the economy does well, kind of everybody does well. But then when there's an economic crash, kind of everybody goes down with the tide. So the more people in the room that are enthusiastic and just laying it all out there, it's like the higher the water goes, and everybody floats along on top of that. So, hey, let's wrap up here with an encouragement to all of our listeners. Whether you're worshiping through serving someone or taking a phone call from someone who's hurting, or you're worshiping by listening to some Celtic worship. That's one of my favorite bands these days. Celtic worship, or going to church on Sunday and being part of the congregation. Do something to exercise your spirit by worshiping God. And if you don't have a church already and you live anywhere close to Wellman, Iowa, join us at New Life at the Parkside Activity Center. We meet at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning, and we've got some midweek options too, some men's groups and women's groups and youth that meet from time to time. So we try to have something for everybody. We're not a real big church, but that means you can get to know people quickly, and it's a great environment. So come on and join us. Otherwise, hey, we're praying for you and hoping that you're doing well in life. If you need something or you got a question, say something in the comments, and we'll see if we can answer your questions.
All right, that'll do it for this week's Real Talk. It's brought to us by New Life Community Church in Wellman. We'll see you next week.